Hello and welcome to the Life Vision Project. My name is Dr. Gilles Lamarche, your host for this module entitled Creating the Movement Through Digital Media. And my special guest today is our dear friend, the founder of AmpLIFEied.com, Dr. Jason Deitch. Jason, welcome to the Life Vision Project once again.
Gilles, it's a pleasure to be here with you. Just grateful for all we've been able to do together, and today's just an awesome day to connect and share.
Well, as you all know, our goal is to help our chiropractic colleagues discover their life vision. And as it relates to social media, you have been intricately involved. You've spent a number of years developing your social media savvy and helping others become more visible. You're the creator, as I mentioned a while ago, and the developer and the continuous feeder, if you want, of AmpLIFEied.com, a service that you've been providing to chiropractors for free. And I remember the first time you told me that, I was like, really? And so the question I have for you as we begin this interview today, why would you do that?
Well, that's a good question. I have a lot of people that actually ask me that question. I guess the simplest answer for me to explain is, my life vision is to help give this profession the tools, the technology, the messaging, everything necessary to remove all excuses to getting our story to the masses. It's a pretty simple premise for me. I got my first adjustment when I was 8 years old. Ever since that time, literally, I've been asking the question, how does everybody in the world not know about this? And I still don't know the answer to that question, except for we are not sharing it enough with them. There's just no other answer. Decades ago, prior to social media, literally prior to, let's say, 2005, there was a very simple answer, and that was that the profession just never had the financial resources to buy its way into traditional media.
Exactly.
But since social media came around and the internet and technology, Facebook specifically, we no longer have, I know this sounds almost weird, but we no longer have the luxury of that excuse.
The barriers have been removed, right? The barriers have been removed.
The barriers have been removed. There's no reason why our message does not go viral and spread worldwide, truly overnight, like many messages do, except for the fact that we're not doing our job. We're not doing the work. So I knew in my lifetime, for my own personal reasons, felt I needed to know that I did everything I possibly could to try to get this message out there, and I wasn't going to let money to be an excuse as to why people didn't get involved.
So I think of the statement that we've heard, all of us have heard, what would we do to leave the profession better than when we received it, right? I mean, I think it's an old BJ quote. I can't quote it directly, but when he talked about, I leave you a sacred trust, guard it well. It's not about guarding it and keeping it to ourselves, is it? It's about guarding the value of the trust and then sharing it with the masses so they can get to experience it. And I know you've built a substantial following on AmpLIFEied.com. I know that you and your team create phenomenal content every single day that doctors can share. And sometimes I hear docs say, well, but it's not all chiropractic. And you've explained to me over time why it's not all chiropractic. But I'd like you to explain to the audience, because when it comes to creating the movement through digital media, it's not just about selling us. It's about what exactly? It's about building relationships and the why. So can you share with the audience how and why that occurs and how you do it?
That's a great question. Yeah, it's a great question. There's really two reasons that come to mind immediately as to why it's not exclusively chiropractic. There's probably a lot more, but the two that come to mind immediately are, number one, people don't understand what chiropractic is, and those that think they understand are often inaccurate. So, in my opinion, by including other lifestyle-oriented messaging to say that, chiropractic is similar to exercise in that you don't have to have a problem in order to do it and benefit from it. In that, in the beginning, you usually do it quite repetitively. And then as you get into the shape that you want to get into, you don't stop exercising per se. You may modify your intensity level and your frequency level to say that when you stop exercising, you don't expect it to work or last forever. It works as long as you work. These are, same thing applies to watching what you eat. Same thing applies to sleeping on a good routine, being nice to people. I believe that by integrating chiropractic in context to other lifestyle-oriented things, helps people understand where to think of it, where to fit it. We're in a unique situation with a foot in two different lands. One is, we're doctors, and people just culturally think that you go to the doctor when you're sick. Right. So for those of us that really know that chiropractic is good to help people when they have an issue, but also know that it's great for people whether they have an issue or not, similar to these other lifestyle type things, I find it helps create a context for people to put it in, as opposed to, well, I feel fine, I don't need to go to the chiropractor. Like you wouldn't go to the doctor when you feel okay. So that's my first, is it creates a context. The second is that I believe that we are at our best when we're focused on serving people based on their needs, not just on selling people our agenda.
Right.
And so by focusing on helping people be inspired to live their best life, I think that changes the equation for them to realize what's possible for them. Listen, most of us have lived, if you've been in practice, people come in and they're not thinking too straight, right? They go, oh, I got the normal headaches, right? The normal aches and pains. And they have come to learn that these problems, these symptoms, these issues, my common allergies, right? That's normal. And so until we sort of perhaps break through that ceiling and let them realize that there is hope, that they can be inspired to, in fact, live a better life, not the normal headache life. Until they realize that they're capable of more, it doesn't make sense that they would even do something for more. So I guess connecting with people based on their needs, inspiring them to realize what's possible, and then following that up with, here are different things you can do to live your best life, I just personally believe is the best way for us to focus on helping connect and build a relationship with people interested in living their best lives and interested in learning from somebody like you and I, who inspires them to want more and isn't simply focused on selling them our product that we benefit from exclusively. I think I understand the arguments. I know the arguments that we're chiropractors, we should stay focused on chiropractic. We're not trained in many of these other things. I am not saying we should be doing these things in our practice. I am saying that we are experts in helping people live their best life. That's part of the conversation. And we earn the right to share more about chiropractic when we've gained the trust and respect on the things that we already agree on. And that's actually a third thing, just real quick, that comes to mind, is the best way to connect with people and have them believe that you're right about something oftentimes happens when you have agreement with them, not disagreement with them.
Yeah.
So when you share that exercise is good for you, most people don't go, I don't believe in that. My doctor told me I should be careful, right? Same thing with all the other lifestyle issues. So if we can get an agreement, if we can build a relationship where you start saying, well, that's true, I know exercise is good for you. Well, that's true, I know eating well. Everybody knows that. Then by the time I'm also sharing with you about the impact of the nervous system on health, there's just a slightly higher chance you're actually going to listen more to me, because everything else I've shared with you is obvious and true, and most everybody agrees on that. If we start and we contain the conversation to only things that our audience doesn't know, isn't aware of, and perhaps even disagrees with, there's very little room for movement or change.
That makes total sense, because every public speaking course that I've ever taken, and I've taken some pretty high-level public speaking courses, they've always told us that what is imperative as you begin to talk is that you get agreement from your audience. If you can get your audience to say yes 3 to 4 times before you ever ask them a question that's going to require reflection, they are more likely to flow into the yes. So if that was the context and the philosophy behind what you do and why you chose to do it, that makes complete sense to me as it relates to communicating a message that is powerful. And therefore, what I'm hearing you say is leading them into a chiropractic lifestyle that involves dealing with thoughts, traumas, toxins. So I'm following you correct on that.
You can actually, just real quick, make that a fourth answer, which is that if you really study our philosophy, if you study subluxation, you study the cause of subluxation, these lifestyle issues, thoughts, traumas, toxins, are the causes of the subluxation. I don't think it's the wrong thing to, in fact, enlighten people and let them become aware of the very lifestyle that's caused them, in most cases, to be subluxated, and what will help them hold their adjustments longer in the long run.
Yeah, because a lousy lifestyle causes an inability of their nervous system to appropriately adapt to the lifestyle stressors that they're creating.
You got it. You got that.
Wonderful. So I heard you say probably the word inspired 2, 3, or maybe more times in our first 5 or 6 minutes together. And when I hear people talking about being inspired, I see that as likely them living an inspired life, therefore living their life vision. So my next question for you, Jason, would be, what's your personal life vision, and what's your life vision professionally and for the chiropractic profession? Sort of a triple-edged question here: the personal side, the professional side, and the vision, your life vision for the chiropractic profession as a whole.
I would like to see people embrace what I'll call the chiropractic philosophy and lifestyle as normal. I would like to see children have a chiropractor at birth or soon after birth. And I would like people to think about and rely on keeping their nerve system clear and filter the decisions they make day in and day out through how is this going to impact my life, my nerve system, my expression of my maximum potential. I think that there's just a simple cultural shift from I'm a machine waiting to break down that just needs drugs or surgery when it's broken so I can go back to the damaging things that caused the problem to begin with. It's a philosophy. It's an addiction to an understanding that's inaccurate, but has become pervasive, primarily for financial reasons. So I think that when people tend to hear the truth, that we are connected to nature, that we have miraculous abilities to self-heal, and we do throughout our lifetime, that there is such a higher potential we all have to live greater lives and therefore contribute to make the world a better place. I think that's our opportunity. Whether you focus your chiropractic practice on simply helping sick people get well, whether it's focused on helping people get out of pain without the use of drugs and turning them into opioid addicts, and perhaps even heroin addicts and so on, that goes along that line of thinking. Whether it's to inspire them to live our lifestyle from birth till 101 plus, I'm open to all forms of that expression. It's just, for whatever reason, been a driving force in my life to do everything I possibly can to learn about the technologies of the day, to connect with what's working. I'm inspired by the technological, perhaps geeks and the financial people that have the foresight to predict where the future is going and to, in fact, build tools and technologies that drive the future. For anybody that's listening that doesn't know my story, I got the insight to see literally what Facebook was from a very early start back in 2005, while I was still on just a few Ivy League campuses. That inspired me to show me over the last 12 or so years what's possible. And Facebook is something that has changed the world in so many ways, changed industries, changed the way we connect with each other, changed the way we receive information. It's changed everything. And And I kind of believe there's no accidents. My exposure to that, I think, was designed to bring it into our profession, so we collectively can, embrace these new ideas and new technologies and do what's necessary to make the world a better place. I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid that we can do that.
And I believe you, and I know that we can do it. And it's been a number of years now, probably 5 or so, where I've started some of the presentations with, I have a dream, right? A dream that within this decade, chiropractors will become the recognized go-to health experts around the world. And I thought it was a very far-fetched dream. But the more I see the value of social media's contribution to communication, the more I see the possibility that that dream can become a reality. So the title of our module is Creating the Movement Through Digital Media. Can you share some ideas, that you're working on now? I mean, what's working already and what's in the future to actually help us create the movement? Because the key is helping chiropractors discover their life vision, then teach them and give them the tools, provide them with the tools to live their life vision, and then with them on board, create the movement. That is really where dramatic change could happen around the globe. I
agree with you. So let me answer that question in reverse, which is, let's start with the future and work backwards. Our good friend, Dr. Guy Riekman, I believe the most talented person in our profession, movie maker, you get a filmmaker who's a chiropractor. I mean, what else could you ask for as it relates to really, crafting the perfect message? When he learned about Facebook technology, when I shared with him the vision for AmpLIFEied and so on, it was all based on the premise that, we would be at our best if we were able to get thousands, 20,000, 30,000 or more chiropractors that we could communicate with, who each had 1,000 or more people that they could communicate with, so that we could create messaging, videos, audios, pictures, the stuff that is on social media. We could create stuff that goes to tens of thousands of chiropractors that ultimately goes to tens, if not hundreds of millions of people. And we have a goal for September 18th, 2018 to release the next perfect movie about the chiropractic lifestyle. However, we've been strategic about this. Many of you, some of you don't know, many of you have been around for a couple of decades know. Dr. Riekman created the movie From Simple Beginnings back in 1995 to celebrate the centennial. Phenomenal movie. They raised over $1 million to try to get that one 60-minute movie on off-cable stations 3 times against every possible resistance you could. Amazing movie, limited impact. The challenge we have is that we traditionally have been held back by traditional media. We're still thinking that way. So the new vision is to get tens of thousands of chiropractors to build their local audiences. And the way to do that is by sharing great stuff on a regular basis. So you build an audience of people that actually look forward to your daily messages. I call it a daily dose of inspiration. I believe that there's plenty of people that know what to do. They're just not inspired to do it.
Right.
People know they should eat better, they should exercise more. They don't do enough of it. So I think job number 1 is for us to inspire people to want to live the best lives. If we can achieve that, they're going to start asking questions about how do I do that?
Yes.
And that's our job. That's our opportunity, I would say, for growth. So that's the vision. If we could get tens of thousands of chiropractors who each get 1,000 people they're connected with, and they inspire their community by sharing messages daily, there is no doubt in my mind that is the formula for taking our message and making it go viral. So I know it's doable. I see it happen on a regular basis. We all see things that go viral in a relatively short period of time. We can do it. The only subluxation or interference or question as to whether it will happen or not is whether our profession decides to step up and want to play that big.
Yeah, I mean, it does require that we step up. And I think the step up is not that tall, is it? I mean, it's a matter of being committed on a daily basis to spend just a couple of minutes, literally just a couple of minutes, in sharing messages that are actually created for you for free and building an audience. I mean, do the math. Jason said 10,000 chiropractors. I believe you're at more than that on AmpLIFEied already. Am I correct?
We're just about 13,000. You know, we set a goal of 25,000 within 2 years. We're well on our way there. But it can't happen fast enough in my mind. You know, that there's a side of me that just goes, more now, let's go.
If 25,000 chiropractors share a message with 1,000 people, friends, do the math. That's 25 million. Then all you need is for those 1,000 people in your network to share it with 4 more people, and all of a sudden now you're up to 100 million people seeing a chiropractic message. It's a powerful way to communicate.
Every day for free.
Every day, exactly. Every day for free. No investment on the chiropractor's part. So if chiropractors are dedicated and committed to living their life vision and joining a movement to really bring chiropractic to the world and make an impact on humanity, I would suggest that this is it. This is it.
It's a shift in consciousness in our profession. A lot of us, you know, we're individual practitioners. We're out on our own. You know, done by hand does not usually, you know, work with people who tend to want to focus on putting their hands on people, not working with technology and devices. We tend to, unfortunately, not think about the big picture. We tend to think about, you know, what am I going to get out of this? I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I've heard every excuse possible, I think, as to why it can't happen, and yet it has to. And so, you know, you and I travel the world, oftentimes together, trying to inspire the profession to, you know, grow, to stretch. In fact, it's funny, but we actually try to inspire the profession to do what the profession tries to inspire the public to do, but isn't doing ourselves. So just to break that down a little bit, we wish the public was a little bit more open-minded, don't we?
Yes.
Right? That they thought about things perhaps that maybe they've been told all their life wasn't true. Maybe they've heard from all kinds of places that chiropractic doesn't work, it's not good for you, maybe even dangerous. Maybe they've heard that, but we're asking them to have an open mind. We ask them to try new things that they may not necessarily be too comfortable doing. It's awkward to get, you know, your neck adjusted and so on. So we're asking them to be brave and courageous and explore new things, right? We're asking them to invest some money, right? I'm not even asking anybody for any money necessarily, except for some sponsors to help support it. But this is available as a free service. But we're asking the public to invest money into helping them make their lives better by using our service. I sometimes wonder how ironic it is. Maybe we should be practicing that first as a collective group, and we may have some better impact and results with the people we're trying to inspire. I don't know.
You know, in having previous conversation with you, we came up with a question, and I want to bring that question to the surface during this module because it is such a powerful question. And it's, what would happen if 1,000 or more passionate chiropractors inspired to change the face of healthcare came together and chose to work together? Because the key is that there's all sorts of great events that go on in chiropractic. So we know of many where, you know, a lot of chiropractors come together. They spend a day or 2 or 3 together and then go off to their individual spaces to make every attempt and be as diligent as possible to impact their communities. We believe that if this group of chiropractors came together and worked together consistently, that this would be the beginning of a healthy revolution. And when that message is clearly delivered by the entire chiropractic profession, or by the profession as a whole, that the equation becomes a reality. It's that speak with your innate voice, add your personal life vision, do it from a space of lasting purpose, multiply that by 10,000 chiropractors, and we literally change the face of healthcare and probably save humanity. What can you share with the audience about your personal feeling as it relates to that particular statement?
Yeah, I get goosebumps when I hear you say that. And obviously, we worked on that together because that's our life vision. I mean, as friends, as colleagues, you know, that's why we wake up and do what we do. There's plenty of other choices and options. We can make different decisions any day of the week, and yet we keep making this decision to be part of this project. Listen, I think it's a shift perhaps even a maturity within our profession as a collective. We keep asking, I think, the wrong questions. We keep asking questions about, if I do this, what am I going to get? And I understand that there's a reality to that. You can't do everything. But I think there have been, trainers and leaders that teach. We're in a healthcare service-oriented profession. We're not selling tires. We're not selling tacos. This isn't a traditional business. A traditional business, you make something, you sell it for a profit, you sell it to as many people as possible. If it goes away and a new one comes, okay, big deal. It's money, it's business, it's transactional. And in those questions, you ask things like, okay, what's my return on investment? If I do this, what am I going to get? If I'm not going to get anything, I'm not going to do it. If I'm not going to get that much, I may do something else. That's business. And there's a reality. We are in a business. I'm not saying it's one or the other. I'm just prioritizing that if you're in business first and you're a servant or a humanitarian or doctor second, you're going to have a certain level of results or lack thereof. And I just think it's time for us to just shift a little bit and realize that perhaps we could focus on being of service to people first, that we can trust the same universe that we ask our patients, we ask our community to trust, that healing will happen if you get the interference out of the way, that there is an abundance, there is a miracle, there is a natural phenomenon that happens called healing, called growth. That if you get the interference out of the way, that is what happens. Not sometimes, but all the time. Again, that doesn't mean we cure everything. It just means you are at your optimal. You should hopefully know where those limitations are, okay? But we don't practice that within our businesses, so to speak. And I think if we did, we would just absolutely manifest our collective dream. And technology allows for that unlike ever before. Now you can share your personal and professional life vision with your community while collectively sharing the profession's life vision. There are ways to do both. I ask this question everywhere I go when I speak professionally. Why, if chiropractic is so big, why is it still so small? And the number one belief that I keep hearing from the audience, because I literally ask that question from the stage, and people go, because we don't have a common message. And that is not true. It's not true anymore, and it's not required. What's required is our own shift in consciousness for us to realize that our job is to try to touch and teach, inspire as many people as possible to live their best lives, making them aware of their potential and the impact we can have in removing interferences to allow them to express their potential. And if we can stay focused, if we could learn ourselves, grow ourselves, perhaps break some of our bad habits as a collective profession, perhaps realize that there's more to the job than going, hi, I'm a chiropractor. I do chiropractic care, and I want to educate you about what chiropractic is. Because that's what I hear most chiropractors' mindset is.
Right.
And I'll be the first to tell you, unfortunately, it's not enough. We've got to be able to focus on how to be great communicators who understand how to talk to people about their needs, not our service, and how to help create interest, curiosity, and how to create people that want to buy from us, not how we can be the most aggressive pushers or sellers of what we do. Selling or educating chiropractic is not nearly as effective as creating curiosity and creating an opportunity for people to want to buy what it is that we have to offer. That lasts a lifetime. Big difference. I think now's the time, especially through conversations like this, that we can start moving our profession in, I think, a more healthy, more impactful, and even more profitable pathway.
And I believe that is the whole goal of what we're working on right now, is really to create the steps and teach the steps that will allow our colleagues to discover, implement, and manifest their personal life vision, their lasting purpose, and then share with them steps where they can treat their ideal practice. And by doing that, by serving the world, in turn, they also reap the benefits of it all. And so creating this movement through digital media is primordial, and it's of little to no cost. I mean, it's really of no cost other than owning a computer and having an internet line that our chiropractors could continue to do that, or having a cell phone and doing their work. So our time is almost up, but if you have a closing comment to offer our audience, Jason, I certainly would invite you to close with a little bit more wisdom, even though you've shared a lot of wisdom in this short 29 minutes we've been together today.
Thank you. Listen, there are details. The what to do is really easy. The why to do it is the hardest part of I'll say, my job. And so if I can inspire you watching why it's so important to embrace and understand the potential, the power of the internet, just like you're trying to inspire your people to understand the power of the nerve system, I'm simply saying the same thing. That amazing things happen when you clear the nerve system. Yes or yes, right?
Yes.
I'm telling you, if you'll have that same philosophy for the internet, which is the inner network of our culture, of our universe, of our, I'll say at least of our planet for the time being, if we'll embrace those same ideas, if we will choose not to just be focused as my kids are about give me, more, me, now, but actually mature to the point where we realize that we have something so special to offer and that we don't have to be so overzealous that we blow people out of the water, because I've been there and done that too. But we can actually be mature and strategic in how we inspire people to want to do things like we attempt to do with our kids, how we inspire them to want to do the right thing, want to get good grades, want to be their best. If we can get it straight here, I promise you what to do is easy. I will show you what to share, where to share it, how often to share it. I'll even show you how you can get other people to do it for you. What to do is easy. The hardest part is understanding why it's so important. So I spend most of the time in this conversation, listen, we could have spent, press this button, go to this website, click this, share that. But until we connect with why this is so big and so important, it's just like somebody laying down, getting their neck cracked, going, oh, that felt good. I'll call you if I ever get a headache.
Exactly.
Most of our profession is addicted, like people are, to immediate instant gratification. Oh, my headache went away. I'll call you when I have one again. Oh, I need more new patients. What do I click? Right? I got enough new patients. I'm too busy. I'm not interested. We just have to start being the beacons of light that we are, guarding the sacred trust that we have, being more open-minded, being more service-oriented, being more focused on creating systems that will keep the message going out to our communities every single day, regardless of what we get back from it in the short run. When you know the laws of the universe, you know how nature works, you know the bigness of the universe and what's possible, then you're in this life vision game with us. And so, the best thing I can tell you is keep watching these videos, keep learning, stay open to what you, Bo Pierce, myself, what we're creating as far as a digital movement within the profession. Stop thinking of this as marketing. Stop counting your pennies and tripping over dollars, and start realizing this is about saving lives and really, I think, serving humanity at a level that they are starving for, that we have the ability to offer, to share, if we'll simply get out of our own way and get focused on the business at hand. So that's what inspires me about being with you, Jill, all the time. And honestly, Dr. Leekman and Life University, it's the biggest and best game in town that I couldn't be more excited to be a part of.
Well, thank you very much for all the time we ever spent together. Certainly, thank you for sharing your wisdom today on the topic of creating the movement through digital media. And folks, if you are not registered for Life Vision Seminar, or rather, if you have friends that aren't registered, get them to register, because a lot of what Jason is talking about, even he will get into the how and the what in a 4-hour workshop on the Friday morning of Light Vision on April 21st, 22nd, 2017. So invite your friends to join you. Thank you for being with us again today, and continue viewing all of the modules in the Light Vision project. And it's a guarantee that together we will move this profession to its rightful place. So once again, Jason, love and appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to share your wisdom with us today.